award-winning broadcaster, play-by-play announcer for the NHL on NBC. Game 7 tonight. It's the Leafs against the Bruins. Do you have a different mindset, Doc? First of all, good morning. Do you have a different mindset as far as a play-by-play man going into a Game 7 as opposed to a Game 1?
Yes. Our executive producer always says that Game 7s, we have to not do a lot of inside stuff like we do on how a series evolves and how it goes on, but basically take in all the people who will watch a Game 7 who might not watch a Game 4 or 5. Game 7s are a magnet. They attract people because of the do-or-die nature of it. And so for that reason, we try to be more generic. And also, maybe not talk as much when play stops, because there is a built-in drama that the crowd brings and that waiting for a face-off brings. The heroes in Game 7 you just cannot predict. Our star players only play 20 minutes out of 60. They're on the bench two-thirds of the time in our sport. And 18 guys dress and 2 goaltenders, and everybody plays except maybe the backup goaltender. And so for that reason, Game 7 heroes can come from anywhere. Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux and Brett Hall have all had winning goals in Game 7s, but so have Nino Niederreiter and Nikolai Borshevsky and Paul Kostak. You just don't know. That's the fun part of Game 7s. And so I guess the thing is we just try to take in everybody and not talk too much about X's and O's, but more about what gladiators these guys are, what a great sport it is, and try to be as generic as possible so that people that don't watch it all the time can enjoy it too.
Greatest Game 7 you've been a part of?
Wow. That is a tough one. There have been a lot of tremendous ones, and that I know that sounds like a cop-out, but boy, I think probably the one that comes to mind because I'm sitting in Boston was the conference final between Tampa Bay and Boston. Dwayne Rollison was probably in his 40s playing goal, and Tim Thomas was in his glory years here with Boston, and the winner would go on to the Stanley Cup final and play Vancouver, and it was a 1-0 game. That's one that stands out in my mind because it was recent and it was here in Boston, but NBC asked me to count these up, and tonight will be the 42nd.
Wow. Toughest name you still have problems with?
Oh, I don't know if he retired. I got lucky. He retired.
Who's that?
Sergei Nemchinov, and I don't know why it was so hard, but a colleague named Bill Clement got me out of it. It shouldn't be that hard. It's only 3 syllables, but it was putting the chi and the nof and all of that together. And, of course, when it happens on the ice and they move the puck fast, it kept coming out Nemchimov. And he said, say Nemnoff, Nemnoff, Nemnoff. And I guess that was – Bill was a former actor, and so he had all of these tricks, and he taught me how to do that.
There's so many of those great names like Nikolai Habibulin, but there is a rhythm, a flow to them. Once you get it down, then it's okay. Like Ilka Sinisalo, like they're just – Petri Skriko. There are just so many of those great names. These are all the names I remember from doing highlights on SportsCenter.
Oh, yes. And the good thing is that when you get several of them on the same team, and you rattled off some names from the Western Conference there, or from what used to be the Campbell Conference, I guess it was. We used to have guys come to the All-Star game and didn't know which team they were on because the conferences were names at that time. One thing Gary Bettman did for us was make it East and West. But yes, you would have all those names that would come together, and all of a sudden you would have them popping up in a series that you were doing. If you hadn't done that team all year, it would seem sort of strange. But you would kind of envision sometimes your boss sitting down in the stands with a small bag of cash in his hand, and if you studied hard and got the names and numbers right, at the end of a series, he would hand you the bag. I guess that was one of the motivators. And also the other side of it was you really took pride in wanting to do the job right, and that was part of doing it right, as you found at SportsCenter. I mean, people know if you're pronouncing the names right. The real confusing part was when usually it happens with one of the guys from Europe, they would change the pronunciation, or they would say they didn't care, and then one of the PR departments would say he's saying it differently now. And we have had that recently. Connor Sherry with Pittsburgh, has said that his uncle liked the way that he said his name more recently than when he first came into the league. So it's different now. And there was a guy named Teemu Selanne who came into the league in his rookie year.
He changed it.
And it was a lot easier for people in Winnipeg to say Selanne, and so he agreed. And so the Finnish way of saying it changed to the way that all of us anglicized it.
Wouldn't you, if you're Miroslav Shatan, just said Satan? Right?
You guys had such fun with that name. I remember that. I remember watching some of those highlight shows. Yes, the devilish guy.
Yes, and he had to play for the Devils.
Goal scorer.
Like he had to play for the Devils, right? I mean, he should have.
He had to. Yeah, it made a lot of sense if he would. I remember 4 years ago when I was visiting you guys, and one thing that I learned, you always have the round table on what did you learn today?
Yes.
The one thing I learned that day is that Seton likes to go glove side low on McLovin.
Of course.
Remember that sequence? What a tremendous move he made that day. It was I don't know if you've had a Hockey Showdown. I know you shoot foul shots a lot and you do a lot of outside set shooting and so forth, but that was noteworthy that day, and I don't know if he's ever put on the gear since, but McLovin has something to show.
Because usually I go peanut butter shelf on McLovin.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always
it's in the wrist, and you've shown when you do the basketball that you've got that.
He's Doc Emrick. He's got Game 7 coming up tonight, 7:30 Eastern. It'll be the Leafs and the Bruins. Do you like a loud building or a quiet building to do your job?
Oh, loud and raucous. And we've got an anthem singer that has said that he's in his retirement year, and so this potentially could be his last for Rene Rancourt. He started in the mid-'70s here, and he does the fist pumps after the anthem. The building is just wacky here in Boston, and it's a genuine wackiness. There's nothing manufactured about it. They care about their Bruins, and so it'll be raucous, and the teams will either come out nervous and tentative at the very beginning, because that does happen in Game 7s, or it may just be nothing but listening to the boards and the glass in the first 5 minutes, because there may be lots of pounding. It'll be fun, whatever it is.
Do you get recognized by your voice? Like if you're at a restaurant or calling down for room service or the front desk or anything, do they?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes it is flattering, and it's nice when people recognize you like that. And occasionally I get stopped. I'll miss it when it doesn't happen anymore. I remember that time when there was someone on Johnny Carson's old show, and he said that anybody that's involved in the public eye, there is that. For example, he used John Wayne as an example. Who is John Wayne? Get me John Wayne. Get me a John Wayne type. Who was John Wayne? And it happens with everybody in the public eye. And when they say, who was Mike Emrick? I'll miss that whole time, because I do enjoy it when people come up and want to take a picture or they want me to sign something. That's the fun part of doing this, too. But to me, the fun part is preparing and getting in free and getting a good seat for the game and getting to be around athletes that also really enjoy their part in the hockey world.
Before I let you go, can you explain to us, to this audience, of the Vegas story? Because, it's the Golden Knights have been, that's been the feel-good story. How did it happen?
Well, the easy answer is that they got some favorable rules for the expansion draft, but they made the best of them. But that's real simplicity. The fact that they made good choices, but that when these guys came together, they came together with a purpose that went to the second power, and that they have delivered and overcompensated for what people's expectations were all year. And then those of us who are a little skeptical about the fact they had no adversity that they had to overcome all year, and they went into the first round against a big, bulky bunch of Los Angeles Kings, and we thought, okay, this may be the first bit of adversity they're going to have. And what did they do? One of the best goaltenders, Jonathan Quick, gave up 7 goals in 4 games, and lost all 4 because Marc-Andre Fleury only gave up 3 goals total in 4 games. And now they're going to face the San Jose Sharks. And these guys are impressive. And as of yesterday, some of the lower bowl tickets were going for $4,000 apiece out on the street.
Wow.
There is a mania about seeing these guys play, and God bless them. They've done it all hockey-wise in the best way possible. They've hired great announcers to deliver their games. They've done things right. And it's all worked out for them like it hasn't for any other expansion team in the history of sports. And this thing just keeps snowballing and evolving, and good for them.
Say hello to Milbury and Pierre, and have fun as always, Doc. Always great to catch up with you. A pleasure.
It sure is a lot of fun talking to you again. Thanks for all your help through these years.
Doc Emrick, NHL play-by-play man, the man, NBC SM.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.